In this video, we are going to look at pivot tables. But first of all, let us understand what are pivot tables. They are very unique form of tables, or one of the most powerful feature in Microsoft Excel that enable you to calculate things, summarize things, analyze your data. It enables you to see comparisons, patterns and trends in data management and analysis. Let's take an example of how we can analyze our data. Right now we have this car distribution in terms of make, model, color, mileage covered, and the price and cost. So let's try to see how we can use pivot tables to kind of analyze this in detail. So to start, the basic difference between pivot tables and the normal table is that pivot tables are dynamic tables in that they vary with time. You can vary them based on your demand, based on the criteria you want to put in. The table size, the table shape, and everything can change as you input or reduce or increase data accordingly. So it uses a lot of formulas inbuilt to kind of carry out the summation, average, and all that analysis for you very easily. You can see the most critical part of the analysis. You can easily visualize it using pivot tables. So to start with, all you need to do is to come to the home tab ribbon over here, come to insert, and you can see pivot tables directly, or you can insert recommended pivot tables, which is usually my favorite. So but before you go into insert, the first thing you need to do is you can insert the normal table into this. So this can help you quite a lot when you are doing analysis, or when later you want to add in some set of data to this particular data. It will easily synchronize, and it will take the behavior very easily. So the first thing is to select everything, select your data, and come to the table and just click on it, and just make sure that the Excel recognize that my data has a header. So if it doesn't have a header, you can uncheck this, but then it has. So you select this, and you can see it has quickly converted it into a table, and it brought in this table design tab over here with the key details. If you like, you can come over here and navigate around to change the table styles and all that. I may want to change it to this style, which is much better. So back to our normal table, you come to insert, and then you can come directly to insert pivot tables, but I strongly recommend you go to recommended pivot tables just to have an idea of how pivot table is going to quickly analyze your data and give you any kind of suggestion. So you just come to recommended pivot tables over here, and you can see them just highlighted. Sum of mileage by make, you can see sum of mileage by make. So mileage by make, you can see the details over here. You can see sum of price by color, you can see them, and you can see sum of cost, sum of price by color as well, and sum of mileage. You can see the table, the way it is being arranged. You can see multiple of them. You can see sum of price by model. You can see them according to the model. This is Honda, this is Chevrolet, this is Ford, this is Nissan, and you can see the sum of the prices accordingly. You can see count of model by make. You can see them very easily. Excel can give you this data just in a very quick way. You can see the analysis of your data. How many black cars are there? Count of model by 5. You can see how many red cars, 3. How many silver, 6. You can see the total, grand total. You can give you grand total and all that. So but for now, you're free to take in anyone. If you feel like you can change, you can just click and select anyone. You're free to select anyone, but for now we are going to go directly to pivot tables. So inside pivot tables, you can see from table range, or you can just click on pivot tables, and it's going to set you to give table range. Right now, because we have already inserted a table, it has given our table a name. This is the name that our table has, and it has picked that name, and this is the areas it has picked. If you are not comfortable with the area, you can easily click on this and then manually select the area that you want to cover. So choose where you want the pivot table to be placed. You can decide to place it in this sheet, or you can decide to place it on another sheet. You can create a new sheet for you, which is another option. You can create a new sheet, or you can click on existing sheet, and then you can now define where you want the pivot table to appear. So let's say you want it to appear here, and it picked that cell as our input. So we'll click on enter, and then we can add this. Once we click on OK, it's going to automatically bring in our data table, pivot table. So over here, you can see the pivot table 2. To the right here, you will see this pivot table fields. So at the top over here, you have all the headings of your table: the make, the model, the color, the mileage, the price, and cost accordingly. So you are the one to decide how you want to plot them. For example, if I click on the model, it's going to select in all the models available from here, going to give me the total list of all the models. And then now I want to maybe get the price of all these models. Okay, as soon as I click on the price, it picked the price and send it to the rows and send it to the values. You can see the model, it's send it to the row button, the row feature over here. If you want, you can change it to another place. If you want to, you can bring it to the columns. If you want to get maybe the sum of the price according to columns, according to all these arranged in a columns section. But I think at this point it makes more meaning. It can give you the grand total. You can see the sum of price. Civic, Corolla, you can see all the features. You can verify this if you want, and then you can bring in more features. Maybe you can click into add more color to it, and it's going to put in the row. But except if you want to put it in the values, which is going to tabulate it in a much better way. You can see it now. It gives you the coloration, how many Ultima 2, how many Charger 3, how many Corolla, how many CRV. Okay, it can give you the total just like so, and the grand total as well. So you're free to select on any part of the table. You're free to select to drag and drop this, or you can drag and drop it on the values or on the columns over here, and everything now changes according to what is in existence on the make. So this is according to the make. You're free to drag it also to the bottom here so that you can see the count of the make also from here. So you're free to play around with the data, the headings, and see what you want. At any given point, you can decide to play to undo or to remove any field, any header that you don't want. For example, this make, I can decide to remove it. Just dragging it and dropping the color out, it's going to remove it for you just like so. And you can bring in color if you want. You can just drag it and drop it, and you can see it has changed. So you have the option to play around with the features. The first thing you need to pay attention to is once you kickstart the pivot tables, you will see the pivot table analyze tab already shown at the top here. So what you have here is the table name. Okay, the pivot table name, you can decide to play around with it. You can change the pivot table name if you want, and then you have the option to check out other features from here. So but one of the most important thing is the arrangement of this table. You can alter the arrangement of this table by just coming to this small gear icon, clicking on it. You can see right now the fields, the header fields is at the top. You can change it to be at the side just like so. You can be dragging and dropping the content accordingly to each field, and then you can change it to the no field just like so, and you can change it to any other, maybe area sections only. Okay, 1 to 4, you want to see only the area section, only 1 to 4, you can just do that as well. And you can play around with the other features. You can sort from A to Z if you want the arrangement to be in that format, but I think I prefer it to this in this form. So this is about this arrangement by the side here. You can play around with anything here. So this gives you the sum value. If you want to get other values, you are free to click on this drop down and you click on value field settings. You just click on this and you're free to kind of get average or maximum, minimum product or anything accordingly. You can check it out, and once you say okay, it's going to rearrange this value. Instead of count of color, it's going to give you average. Instead of count of sum of price, it's going to give you average of price. Something like, okay, come to the value field settings, you can come to average and you can click on OK, and this is going to give you the average of price accordingly. It's going to display it in the pivot tables. So right clicking option is truly your friend. You can do quite a lot in terms of editing of what you have here. You can copy a table, you can format cells just like you have, you can change the number format, and you can refresh in cases when you added other data on the main table, and you can sort the data from smallest to the largest, and it just sort it for you very easily. You can do quite a lot with the right clicking. You can remove average of price and put something else. Summarize value by sum, count. You can equally do it over here. You can see minimum, maximum, and so on. You can show values as the percentage of grand total, or percentage of column total, or percentage of row total, or anyone according to your wish and your the message that you were trying to explain. You can enable or disable the value field. You can check out the pivot table options just like we have shown over here. You can hide the field list also if you want. You can hide it just by clicking on this, and you can show it if you just click on this. Alternatively, you can hide the field list also by coming to over the top over here. You can show the button and unshow it. You can check the field headers, remove or enable. Okay, you can enable the field list also if you want from here. These are recommended pivot chart, and then the pivot that we've just plotted. You can clear any pivot by selecting all. Okay, you can select entire pivot table and you can just clear it if you want, and then you can move it to another sheet if you so wish. You can change the data source, you can refresh in cases when you added any other thing. You can insert slicers. So for example, if to insert a slicer, you can just click on insert slicer, and maybe you want to make this this make as a slicer. Just click and say okay, and this is going to be a slicer. You can bring it to the side here. In cases when you click on Chevrolet, it's going to sort it based on Chevrolet, and it's going to give you this value. So easily you can get to Ford and you can see the values. Okay, the Mustache, the Fusion, the Escape, and all their pricing and color. And then you can check out Nissan and so on. So this is slicing. Once you're done with slicing, you can easily close the sorting from here, and you are back to your normal table. And once you hit you enable the slicing, you can see the slicer tool also over here. There's quite a lot that you can do in terms of changing the slicer style. You can change it and make it kind of attractive, and make it, you can play around with the color palettes and play around with the alignments and the header and footers, the sizes, the width, the column, and many more. The slicer names you can check and enable them and edit over here very easily. Once you are back on the pivot table, you can do quite a lot. Like I said, you can insert timeline, you can insert filter connections and all that. And then you can check out the active field. Right now is the average of price. You can see the active field, and you can check out the field settings just like we have shown, so that you can see many more features in terms of maybe you want to change the variation or to change the data to some, maybe to maximum, minimum, or any other thing. Okay, so this is about pivot tables. It gives you more details in cases when you want to add some given data. You can just come over here, drag this, and then you can just easily add anything. Maybe you can add Honda, and you can maybe put in, and once you added this, all you need to do is to come over here and just right click, and you can say refresh. Okay, it's going to refresh everything, and you can see Saloon is brought in as an option with all the features that we've just added. Pivot tables makes life very easy in cases when you have and you know what you want to use to analyze your data. Very easily you can see the results, and you can easily play around with the features and add in or reduce whatever you want. You can come over here and do quite a lot in terms of you can remove also from here. You can remove a field, you can bring in field if you want very easily, and you can play around with it and see the results immediately. So this is about pivot chart. Feel free to try it. Feel free to see how you can analyze, get the summary, get the quantity or the analysis, or understand the pattern about how it's being managed in Microsoft Excel. In the next video, we are going to look at pivot charts to shed more light on pivot tables, on how you can analyze your tables and understand it very clearly and easily. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.